We've got a couple of people still joining. It's good to see everybody on this strange 80-degree November day if you're in the Texas Panhandle.
Hello, Gina.
Hi,
Yes, it is
Natalie.
strange.
All right. So if you're familiar with the SBDC, you know that Romy is teaching this today, and I am obviously not Romy, but she is standing off to the side. She's going to use my office today, but I wanted to introduce Romy and also let you know a little bit about what we do and what we're going to be doing today. So my name is Gina Woodward. I am the previous director of the SBDC. We're still working to fill that position, but I'm still involved with WT, obviously. I'm now the executive director of the SBDC's sister department, the WT Enterprise Center. What's really important today is for you to get to know what the SBDC does. I love for you to know the staff, and I'm not sure if we have staff pictures today. But at the SBDC, we are a department of the College of Business at West Texas A&M University. But SBDCs are kind of a program of their own. The SBA started funding SBDCs in the late 70s. They realized that we had small business owners all across the United States and they needed technical help with the businesses, whether it was cash flow projections, business plans, market research, all the fun stuff. Um, as much as we want you to be successful, the SBA understands that when you start out, you're not usually rolling around in a bunch of cash, and you can't pay a private consultant to do those things. That's why they started this program. So now there's actually SBDCs all across the United States. There's one that is assigned to every single area of the US. We are in Amarillo, and obviously we are assigned to the Texas Panhandle. So if your business is in the Panhandle and you need help with any of those things that I mentioned, or there's lots of other stuff that we do, your tax dollars are being used for good. I always like to tell people you don't always get to see the direct results of the tax dollars that you've paid in. This is one of the few ways you really get to see it. You got nice roads to drive on most of the time. The SBA does help to fund our office. And so if you do want to meet with us, our program coordinator, Callista Maldonado, is also on. She's waving right now. You can get in touch with us and we'll drop the email in the chat box. All of the consulting that the SBDC does is free of charge. And people always ask us, what does it look like? What do I need to bring with me if I come to an appointment? There's not any kind of set curriculum for those meetings because we understand that everybody's business is different, your needs are different. Those meetings are very much led by what you need. So consulting is the main thing that the SBDC does. They also do a lot of workshops, just like this one that you're sitting in on today. We do a lot of virtual, a fair amount of in-person as well. We do QuickBooks in person. Callista just hosted what I think is one of our most fun workshops called Press Play, where you get to come in and you learn how to actually use your cell phone, stuff that you already have. Because again, you can't go out and buy $1,000 camera to record videos. You get to learn how to shoot and edit those on free apps. My goal when I was the director, and I think that continues today, is that when you come to one of our workshops, you leave and you have a new tangible skill that you can use in your business right now. It always irritates me when I go to training and they talk about things, but they don't actually tell you how to do anything. So we want you to know how to do things. That's exactly why Romy is here today. So Romy is one of the student workers at the SBDC, and we got really, really lucky when we hired Romy. She was previously with an accounting office. She's in accounting. You're a double major, accounting and finance major at WT. Way smarter than I could ever hope to be. But she's actually done a lot of QuickBooks works for clients through that bookkeeping firm. So what she's going to do today is give you kind of an introductory look at QuickBooks Online, how to use some of the basic features. While QuickBooks, I would say it's relatively easy to use if you know how you're using it. We run into a lot of people who think all you have to do is set up your account and you're good to go. I wish it was that easy. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There are some foundational things that you need to make sure that you have set up correctly from the beginning. Those are some of the things that Romy is going to teach you. So I'm going to step out of my office and let Romy take over, but you're going to have a wonderful time with her. Thank you, Romy.
And then I can just share the screen.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Alrighty. Okay, share. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys real right quick. Do I do this one? Pick that one. Okay. Share. Perfect. Alrighty. Hopefully you all are able to see my screen. So like Gina had mentioned, this is just a really basic intro to QuickBooks. QuickBooks is kind of this overwhelming thing that people are really intimidated by and not using it to its full potential. So really, we're just kind of introducing the software today and just kind of showing you just kind of the neat little tips and tricks that are within QuickBooks, just to kind of get your feet wet. So if you guys have already established an account in QuickBooks, this might be a little too beginner friendly for you, but this is just some tips and tricks for people who might be interested in using QuickBooks software. So the things that we're going to actually cover so if you guys want to actually walk along through this little how-to session. They have a QuickBooks Online test drive, and that's actually what I will be using today. So if you guys just want to go to Google, put this in QuickBooks test drive, and then you'll click on this link right here, and then it'll take you to this screen. Oh, it'll take you to this screen right here, and then you'll click on this link right here. So I'll just give you guys just a few seconds to get there. Yeah, and this is a really awesome tool to use, especially if you were just trying to get familiar with QuickBooks, if you already even have an account, or if you just maybe just kind of getting your feet into the water. So it gives you kind of just this fake business account, and you can just click on whatever, change whatever numbers you want to, and it makes and it has no effect on your actual books. So it's a pretty neat tool to learn and to go through. Alrighty. Um, Right, so these are just some of the basic things that we'll be going through today. We'll just kind of be going through the dashboard tour and just being able to add just different widgets to the actual screen. We'll look a little into the new button just to see all the things that you can do in there, and then we'll be able to create an invoice by the end of today, record an expense, and then we'll look at your banking accounts and then the reports. We'll learn how to reconcile, and then we'll just have some Q&A at the end. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get into the actual QuickBooks. All right, so this is your dashboard, and what we're actually working with today, our sample company, is actually a lawn business, and they take care of like just all of those things as far as that goes. So what we're first looking at, we have the sales and get paid funnels. So this right here is actually all of the people who have not paid you quite yet, people who you have paid you, and then this is everything that you've deposited into your bank account. So that's pretty neat. The dashboard view is just kind of a quick snapshot of just kind of everything that's going on in your business. So then we have our quick profit and loss, our expenses, and this is kind of the neat thing about this test drive is that we're actually able to see and add just different things. So right now, I'll go ahead and add my sales, my accounts receivable, my accounts payable, some cash flows, and I think that's all we'll do. Let's see. Click save. And you guys can customize this to however you like. Those were just my preferences of what I'm gonna put on today. So yeah. So right here, I'm able to see my accounts payables. So everything that I need to make sure that I pay people for their services, and then my accounts receivable, my expenses. I'm able to see my cash flow, and just kind of the year, just at a glance, and then my sales. Yeah. And so just kind of getting familiar with this first page. It's definitely, you can do so much more than just this. But this is just really just kind of getting your feet wet in all of this. So you have all of your bank accounts linked to your QuickBooks. So every transaction that you make automatically updates into the actual QuickBooks, into your account. So you have your checking, and here you have the MasterCard, and then your savings as well.
So the first thing that we will do today is we will go ahead and just kind of check out the new button right here on the left side. So a lot of the things that you'll probably use are like the invoices, the expenses and receive payments. So those are the things that we typically used at the accounting firm most often. So we'll go ahead and start off by creating an invoice. Alrighty, let that load. Right. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and add our customer. And so what I'm going to just use is Amy Bird Sanctuary right here. And then what's really neat about this, you can automatically set your terms. So if you want someone to pay in the next 30 days or in the next 60 days, 10 days, 15, you're able to change that and it automatically updates the date for you. So that's pretty neat. And then we go to the product and service. So since Amy's Bird Sanctuary seems probably more of like a design company, so we'll go ahead and put in the design. And then we'll go ahead and say that she owes us, let's say 500. So that automatically changes. And then we go ahead and have our sales tax added to that. And then what's also really neat about this QuickBooks is that you're able to actually see the invoice before it's sent. Let's see if it'll load. Alrighty, and then you're actually able to print it and then you'll be able to maybe mail it if that's what you choose, but it'll definitely send an email just right here. You can send you a copy and then just kind of the email along with it. So that's also really neat. And then once you're done with that, you'll go ahead and just send the invoice. Alrighty. So we learned how to do that, but where do we actually, like, where does that show up eventually? So we go down to our accounts receivable. So we'll go down here back to our dashboard and we'll go to report down here. Alrighty, and then right here, we see that Amy's Bird Sanctuary on our report. And this is a charge that we had just made. So the 500 plus the $40 in sales tax. And it looks like right here, she even has something that's overdue, that is supposed to be due, over that time period that we had set. So we'll go ahead and say that she went ahead and paid the 540 that she was supposed to pay. So we can go here and then we click on Amy's Bird Sanctuary. We'll scroll down and then we'll go up here and we'll put receive payment. Okay. And it actually shows all of the things that she owes to you guys, to this lawn business. So right now we'll just say that she just paid the 540. And then we're just still waiting for payment for whatever this might have been. So we'll go ahead and put record and close. Righty. And then it's gone. Oh wait, nope. New and send. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Let's see. Alrighty, and then we will just go back to the summary report. Okay, let's try that one more time. For some reason, I might have just clicked a wrong button. So go through that. All right, well, maybe I already just didn't update. Okay. So we'll go ahead and just go through our dashboard again. Maybe it just needs to refresh again. So go to our accounts receivable. Okay, and then now it's gone. It just needed to update. But what's also really cool about this summary report is that you're able to see what is overdue, so what people still owe. So right here we see that Red Rock Diner still owes 156, and they're in that threshold of being their payment is late over by is late by 61 to 90 days. So say they came into the office and they went ahead and they got that paid because we sent them an email, whatever, saying that we needed that ASAP. So we'll do that again. So we'll go to Red Rock Diner. Then we go to receive payment. And then record and close. Okay. That takes us back to our dashboard to refresh it again. Go to our report. And now Red Rock Diner has, now they have fulfilled their payment that has been long overdue. And then now they're just sitting in that current payment of just what they owe. So that's pretty neat. This is kind of like a quick glance at who owes you and how late things are, just kind of keeping track of all of that. So the next thing we'll do is, so we're going to go back to our dashboard. And then we'll go ahead and record a payment. So just the same thing that we just did, but just in a different way, if you don't feel like all those steps are if that's not quite as easy. So we'll go to this plus button, receive payment. Okay. We'll choose a customer. Let's say Amy's Bird Sanctuary. She still had one more payment that was due. And then say she's in here paying that. And then we record and close. And there you are. Now her payment is recorded. So again, we can go to the accounts receivable to just check to see if that was updated. And now it is completely gone. Now she has paid all of her dues and nothing, she doesn't owe anything else. Alrighty. So I hope that was fairly simple. That's just something that I imagine as a small business be something that is quite frequently utilized. So the next thing that we're going to do is to create an expense. So again, we're going to go to this left-hand side and then we're going to go to our create button, create an expense. Okay. And we're going to say, who did we pay? I'm feeling like we paid, let's see, Lee Advertising. Okay. And what's really neat about QuickBooks, it learns kind of your habits after a while. So I've obviously have paid Lee Advertising in the past. We've had probably reoccurring transactions with each other, and I've probably paid most times with this MasterCard right here. And then probably the reoccurring payments have been 74.86 cents. So we'll go ahead and just keep that, the 74.86. And then we'll go down here and put save and close. Okay. And then the way that we can go see that if that was correctly recorded, so we'll go back here to our left-hand side into this little helpful tabs, and we'll go to our expenses. And so we'll go ahead and just click on that. And then just like that, right here, our expense was recorded for 74.86 on today's date for Lee Advertising. So that is a really, really neat thing, just to keep track of things. Let's see, and then we'll go back to our dashboard again. Again, the dashboard is just kind of the home. If you're ever lost into QuickBooks, I always just say go back to the dashboard. It's typically where you'll find most things and be able to just maneuver around. Again, even you have all these right here. They're up here as well. So you have a lot of options, but like I said earlier, QuickBooks has a lot of tools that seem extremely overwhelming. So you might not be using all of these things, and that's perfectly okay. But again, we just want you to learn just a little bit about the basics and just kind of how to maneuver around if you're brand new to this software. Okay. And then we'll kind of go through the banking overview. Let's see. Mhm. Sorry, y'all. This looked just a little bit different earlier, and now it's okay. But again, just kind of like what I said earlier, right here, everything is linked to your QuickBooks, all of your checking accounts. And one thing that we always say in business, make sure you keep your personal account separate from your business account, just so things don't get really messy, especially when it comes tax season. So you just have everything right here. Let's see. Alrighty. Got it. So right now we can see that we are currently in the checking account and we see that there have been 25 different transactions, whether if they're received or whether if they're spent. And this is where you can kind of just see everything, just keep in order. So basically this is just almost in another way, keeping track of like your bank statements here. Another way to even look at your, instead of looking at your app, like an A and B app, you might be able to just come look at your QuickBooks and see if things match. So yeah, that's pretty neat. And then you also can have your savings on here. Clearly, we don't do much with this in here. And then we also have the MasterCard where we can see all of our transactions as well. And then, so another really big thing in accounting is making sure that your bank statements match your books. So one thing that we would do every monthly was to reconcile your accounts. So there's several ways to get to the reconcile page. We can go ahead and go through, I believe it is, okay. We'll go ahead and go up here to the little settings button up here. And then we will go to reconcile underneath the tools. Get started. Alrighty. So we see in our checking account, the beginning balance right now is 5,000, but then when you get the statement, it typically has an ending balance, obviously. And so just for time's sake, we'll just say that it's 5,000 and we want to look at from 10/31, 2025. Okay. So start reconciling. Alrighty. So of course this isn't so of course your ending balance and then your cleared balance, but we typically want to do this every month. This is just kind of not the best example to show you, but so we would need to reconcile from just July, August, September, October, and all of those to do all those things separately. But for right now, for the sake of time, we will just say we'll click all. Yes, select all. So see how there's this major difference. There's a 300, 799 difference. That means that our ending balance wasn't put in correctly, and so we need to make sure that all of these transactions match our bank statements to make sure that, of course, our books match our statement account or statements, bank statements. So what I can go ahead and do is, let's see, there's 379 difference. Okay. Well, maybe not. Okay. Anyways, just put edit info. We'll just put the 5,000 in again. Just get this going. Right. And then we save. All right. And again, like I said, this software, it sometimes can be extremely overwhelming. But if you just play around, especially in this test drive, it gets a lot easier. just kind of get your feet in the water again. Uh, okay, let's do 50. Start reconciling. So remember in here, we only had one transaction, so the 200, and then we will just put in balance. Let's see, the two. Okay. All right, this is just giving me some trouble. Let's see. Okay. Anyways, so this is where you would just reconcile, just kind of get familiar with this and make sure that you do this every month. This is extremely important, especially when it comes to tax season and just making sure, just to keep on track with all of your expenses and what you're making and what's going in and out of your accounts. This is a really, really big thing. People pay a lot of money for people to take care of, tax firms or accounting firms to take care of their books. But truly, if you just get used to the reconciling system and just how to do it, it is so simple and maybe you can just save yourself that money. Okay, and then the last thing that I just kind of wanted to cover is just the reports. Okay. So now we're here in our reports. We see all of these ones. Again, just super overwhelming, a lot that you might not even ever use. So of course, we just have our favorites up here. One that, of course, that people you will use a lot is your profit and loss. It's just kind of a snapshot to see how you're doing maybe you look at this every month to see how your sales were or what you were spending. Let's see. So yeah, so you have all of your income, your expenses, and then your gross profit and everything, and your net income at the very end. So that's one of the statements. And then of course, you have your balance sheet right here. That's also really neat. And then another thing is, so if you're just wanting to look at one specific month, so we can actually just change the date. So we'll just use October as our examples. So if I want to look at October 1 to October 31st. Right. And then now we can just see all of October and just kind of what was going on in that month. And we can do that for any of the statements. Um, yeah. And then if you want to add more statements that you typically use a lot, then you're able to do that. So let's see. Let's go look at the accounts payable aging summary. So we can star that and then it should pop up here. Yep, accounts payable aging summary. And then, of course, these are just all the people that we owe, what's overdue, and just all of those things. Yeah. So those are just kind of getting your feet in the water just with QuickBooks, especially if you're not familiar with the software or just yeah, if you're just getting wanting to see more about it. Anyways, so that's all I have prepared for you guys today. Again, use this test drive to test drive. It's so simple and it's really easy to get around and just it's a great tool to use, especially again if you don't have the software already and you're just wanting to get used to it. If you just click on random things and just kind of mess around in it, it makes no difference to your books or anything. It does no damage, no harm, no foul. So again. Thank you for your time today, and that's all I have prepared for you. Yeah, all right. If you guys have any questions,
I'm going to show Romy how to do Q&A. So I'm glad that y'all are all on and helping with this opportunity. If anybody has questions, you are welcome to type them in the chat, but you're also welcome to just unmute yourselves. We're glad to talk. Natalie?
Good afternoon. I have a question.
Hold on, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Test one, two. Can the room hear me?
Okay.
Hello?
Hold on, Natalie, I'm coming around to look at her speaker settings. Sorry.
Okay. Tell me if that made a difference.
You're good. It was us.
Okay, cool. So if you have multiple businesses that you want to track, financials, bank accounts, can you do that in one instance of the software, or do you need multiple instances of QuickBooks for multiple like businesses?
So you would actually be able to separate that in QuickBooks. I think it'd be a pretty hard challenge, especially since all of your statements are connected with each other. I do know several people when we were at the accounting firm, they had several QuickBooks accounts under each name. And honestly, that seemed to work a lot easier for them and just kind of keep track of things, especially it just becomes a problem when you're looking at the reports because I don't think there's really a way that you can separate all of those. But if you're really just using it just to track your expenses and all of that, then I think that would be fine. But if you're trying to use it for more of just like kind of like the reports, I would suggest getting separate accounts for that.
Okay, so you're saying that you, in one instance of QuickBooks, can manage expenses, basically like the banking for
Hmm.
multiple businesses and multiple.
Yeah. So if you're just really looking just to keep track of, again, just trying to reconcile some things and just keeping track of your expenses of what's coming in and out of those bank accounts, then that might be a good tool. But I'm not sure if QuickBooks, if you're wanting to pay that price tag just to track that, as far as just the expenses of as that.
Yeah, well, of course, I mean, I want to use the functionality of QuickBooks for bookkeeping and
Hmm.
taxes. But my main question was if you have multiple businesses, and I'm trying to really get a clear answer here. It almost sounds like if I want to use the functionality of QuickBooks for bookkeeping, I need separate accounts then for different businesses.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I think I'm hearing you say.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yeah, to get the full view of it, I would get separate accounts for the different instances.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? You're welcome to type it in chat or unmute yourselves. What is, will you pull up the chat? I think that's
Yeah.
all
Oh,
Callista's. I have a question from Fabiola.
let's see. Okay. Which QuickBooks do you recommend? All right. So let me go ahead and pull them up because I know that there are different ones. Um, do you mind if I, okay, hmm. Let's see. QuickBooks, books. All right. So I know that as far as the simple start for the QuickBooks software, that one's best if you are just one person using that. But if you are kind of if you're a growing size company, I would really suggest using the Plus, so that maybe you and another partner are looking at the books and making sure that you guys are keeping that on track. But again, if you're just one person and if it's fair, if your business is fairly small and you're starting off, I would really suggest just using the simple start. You'd have all of the tools that you need in there. And yeah, you just don't need to overspend for what you need. Yeah.
Any other questions?
For the expense tab, is there an option to scan receipts? Yes, so there actually
Read the
is
question out.
one. What's
Read the question for him.
Okay. Let's see. For the expense tab, is there an option to scan receipts to keep track of them? So yes, so let's go ahead and I'll share my screen again. So this one. Okay. So let's go ahead and go. There was actually an option when I had tapped onto that screen, but I had quickly exited out of it. So let's see. Yes. Okay. So when I got to the expense tab, I tapped right over here to this kind of little star looking thing. Are they able to see my screen? Okay. Yeah. And then right here, you're just able to upload an image and file in there. So that's how you would get there.
Are y'all able to see her screen okay?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, you have more questions, Romy. You're popular today.
Awesome. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad there's questions. Okay. Let's see. Do you have a more detailed presentation of this that you can send via email later for records, or is this test drive basically it that you've been talking about?
You want me to speak to that?
Yes.
So this is Gina. I'll speak to that. So everybody will get a recording of this presentation afterwards. I know it's a lot to keep up with, so all of this has been recorded. You'll get the link. Calista may have that out later today or first thing tomorrow. But if you want to take a deeper dive into QuickBooks, we do have an all-day class that we offer. We typically do that in the spring and the fall, and we just did our fall one in September. Callista schedules those, and I'm not sure if she has spring on the books yet. We're actually doing our 2026 planning in the next few weeks. We're typically looking at, I got to think back to that schedule. I'm trying to say we typically do that in February, but we will make sure that everybody gets the link to that. But if you have, little questions in the meantime, please let us know if it's something that Romy has done before. We're glad to help you.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Let's see. Appreciate it. Alrighty. Any more questions that anyone may have? Yes.
If there are no more questions, I'm going to pop up a quick poll. Actually, Callista, will you do that? I think you're the host. So part of the requirements of being federally funded, there it is. As I always tell people, we have to ask everyone everything about everything that they've done and include that in our reporting just to justify our federal funds and make sure that we're doing a good job in serving all of you well. One of the things as you're answering those questions that we always like to know, are there other topics that would be of help to you in your business? If there's anything that you think of now, you're welcome to drop it in the chat, but you've also got Callista's email, and that is info@wtsbdc.com. If there's something that you ever think of down the road that would be helpful, that is literally what we are here to do. We want that feedback. So we really appreciate everyone being on today. I know Romy did a wonderful job. I'm so proud of you, Romy.
Thank you.
Hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Oh, I'm going to add one more thing to this while you're all on. Next week is Global Entrepreneurship Week, and the Enterprise Center kind of heads up that celebration for the Panhandle. We have an entire week of workshops scheduled. And again, they're all similar to Lunch Club, where we want you to leave with a new skill. Just a couple of the workshops that are scheduled, for example, we've got one from an AI expert. He's actually used AI to develop his own business. He's going to come and teach everyday or AI for everyday entrepreneurs. We've got another workshop with a longtime SBDC client and friend. He is an expert in Squarespace. You can actually bring your laptops to that and you will leave with your website created. And then I may get the day wrong, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday evening, my personal kind of pet project is Supper Club. And I know a lot of you have gotten to come to that before. We've got that scheduled for an evening, and our guest speaker is Mary Coyne and Julianne Guy with MC Marketing. They're going to talk about personal branding. If you've ever gotten to meet Mary, you know that is what she lives and breathes. She is the absolute expert in it, and she'll talk about how we can develop our own branding and make sure that people perceive us in the way that we want to be perceived. And then our most fun event, the last day on Friday, that'll be the 21st in the evening from 5:30 to 8. We'll host Harvesting Success. So all of these are at our office as well as Harvesting Success, but that one fills the entire parking lot and indoors. It's a big vendor market, lots of local producers, everything from food, handcrafted items, all kinds of stuff they'll be selling. So you can start your Christmas shopping if you have not yet. We'll have, I think, 5 different food trucks, so you can absolutely bring the family for dinner. We've got Journey Coffee here. They're going to be doing free coffee for everyone. And then, kind of new this year, we're doing a pitch competition. If you came last year, you got to see that. But this year, we're actually doing it with our entrepreneurship class at WT in the College of Business. So you'll get to see these students pitch their ideas they've been working on all semester. And then you actually get to text to vote. Y'all select the winners, and the top 3 winning teams will receive prizes from us. And you don't have to write all of this down. Obviously, we will include the link to this in the follow-up email. But if there are no more questions, we really appreciate all of you being on today, and we hope to have you back in January for the next lunch club. We take a break for the Christmas holiday. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you guys.